Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders and entrepreneurs. Today we have with us Dave Arora, founder at 8 Minutes. Welcome, Dave.
Hi, Rajiv. Thanks for having me.
Brief intro. Dave studied his computer science at NIT, following which he worked at GMR for around 2 years as a consultant. He joined Clickit in Delhi, where he did his first stint at the startup space. 8 Minutes is a company where the team is creating a community bound together by beautiful technology and business model that addresses the core problems of accessibility, affordability, and scalability of clean solar energy. Again, welcome, Dave. Do fill in the gaps in the intro and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Sure. So at 8 Minutes, if you're wondering what 8 Minutes actually stands for, It's actually the distance between your home and the sun. Measured in light years. So, that's how long it takes for the sunlight to reach the earth.
Okay.
And so that's how the idea came about. And what we essentially do is we help homes and businesses reduce their energy bills by installing solar on their rooftop.
All right. So before we get into the core business, any passions outside of work?
I barely have time, but I love to read.
Okay.
I think it's something that I do to constantly upgrade myself, and it's a great passion that I've had for a long time. Yeah.
So diving straight in, so what inspired the idea for 8 Minutes?
I think we sort of have hit a time in history when it's a turning point, much like 1970s was for the computer revolution. The microprocessor industry was completely turning around, and it's a very similar turning point for the energy sector around globally. And I think I had left my job about a year and a half back before I started it. And sort of was wondering where it was that I wanted to be next. Took 6 months off and wanted to figure out which direction I wanted to sort of utilize my potential and skills in. Mm-hmm. And I saw this trend coming while I was doing my research. I was very particularly interested in the clean energy sector for a long time. And what's happening now, really groundbreaking, because we're at a point in history called grid parity, where essentially means that the price at which clean energy can be sold to consumers is equal to or less than what the price of energy which is sold to your electricity company.
Okay.
Right? Means, we can sell you cheaper energy than BSES or any other electricity company that you're buying electricity from today, using clean energy from solar, from your very own rooftop.
Okay.
That's groundbreaking. That wasn't true 2 years ago. That wasn't 2-3 years ago. It was never true before that. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw this trend coming on about, and sort of started looking for companies who were working in this sector and wanted to really get involved in the sector. Couldn't find anyone who was working with the same in the same sector that I wanted to be working in, which is basically decentralized energy on rooftops.
Okay.
We had a bunch of companies which are already working in the utility scale, which means larger solar farms, solar plants. Mm-hmm. All the big groups today, all the big conglomerates such as Tata, Aditya Birla, Reliance, everyone's in solar. And everybody's looking to get in solar, get a big piece of the pie.
Okay.
Hit the grid parity. But all of them are focusing on larger solar farms, which is essentially putting solar farms in a distance far off versus putting them on rooftops and actually cutting the distribution losses and basically having you produce your own energy.
Okay.
And that's the way we sort of saw ourselves fitting in and said, why don't we decentralize the entire creation and generation of energy on your rooftop?
So what's the vision for 8 Minutes?
I think the vision is to essentially make clean energy affordable and accessible for people all around. But going beyond that, we want to change the lifestyle through which people sort of consume energy and consume products in general. Because going green has always been seen as something which it's something that nobody really takes for granted.
Correct.
Something that, hey, you feel good about it, but now it actually helps you save money as well. which is for the first time. How does going green and saving money go hand in hand? It's no longer a CSR project. It's actually something that's going to make you money and save you a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the key people to take this project off the ground and make it a reality. I mean, there are other co-founders, right? Anuj and Arjun, right? So, I mean, a brief about y'all guys.
Yeah. So we started about a year and a half back. Anuj and I met at GMR Airport. We used to work there together.
Okay.
Fresh out of college. And then Arjun's been with us. He joined about 3 months later, and he's looking after marketing for us today.
Okay.
And we also have Beneath, who has about 8 years experience in solar.
Okay.
Worked with us in some of the projects, and then sort of loved our idea and sort of left his own company. He was actually running his own company, left that company to sort of work with us.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you validate the idea of the concept? I mean, did you have any test market or test area as such?
Yeah, I think we sort of studied the existing models which are happening in the States. So Elon Musk is running this company called Solar City.
Yep.
And that we took that as a benchmark and said, okay, why can we make that happen in India? And we sort of done some numbers and said we could. And it was the right time. We were almost there. We were actually 6 months ahead of time back then.
Okay.
We crunched our numbers, made some financial cases, and said, yeah, I think this is something we could offer to our customers. And from then onwards, we started approaching customers directly without having an installation team. It was just Anuj and I back then. We started approaching customers with a value proposition that we could sell you electricity cheaper than what you're getting from your energy company today. And we had a lot of takers. We had definitely a lot of takers.
Okay. And so for our listeners, what is clean technology or clean energy?
Clean technology is basically, it's two different things. You can have clean technology, which is any technology which is generating power from a renewable energy source, which does not harm the environment. And anything which generates that energy is basically clean energy. You could have clean energy sources like nuclear. You have clean energy like wind, solar, and there's a bunch of other clean energy sources like biogas. But we specifically focused on solar because it's something which is much more similar to the microprocessor industry that we've been in the past, which is the efficiency of solar is getting better over time more than any other technology which is available in the market today. And if you look at the overall microprocessor industry, you have something called a Moore's law, right, which is doubling efficiency of microprocessors and which results to cost reduction by 50%.
Correct.
You have very similarly something called Swanson's law in solar, which says there's a doubling in manufacturing capacity of solar every 2 years, which results in a 25% cost.
Okay.
And if you look at that trend, we have sort of reached a point in with the prices going down, with the manufacturing capacity going up, through government initiatives, by regulatory laws such as RPOs, renewable energy purchase obligations. All of that has sort of led to a point in time where we're manufacturing enough of a capacity for us to actually beat the conventional energy sources.
Okay.
And yeah, solar itself is going to be the upcoming future of energy, I believe.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you all work at 8 minutes? So let's say a customer, wants to get solar into his residence, for example, or his villa or bungalow or whatever. So how does that work?
So we basically help you first understand your energy savings. I think that's the most important part about getting solar on your rooftop. It's not a complicated technology. The way that we like to pitch it, it's a machine that's going to produce energy from your very own rooftop, right? We take a look at your energy savings for your entire year by taking a look at your electricity bills from January to December. We calculate how many units of energy you consume in a given year. And based on that, we tell you how many panels you need to install on your rooftop.
Okay.
How much space it will take on your rooftop, and how much money it's going to save you over the lifetime of the system, right? A lifetime of a solar panel is about 30 plus years, right? It's unlike your iPhone or any other product which is meant to go obsolete over time.
Yeah.
This is a product that's going to stay around till your kids are basically going to be around and their kids are going to be around. So it's a lifetime investment, and a lot of bottleneck, why solar hasn't taken off in the past is because of the high cost.
Yeah.
Which is that an average home has to shell out about 7 to 10 lakh rupees to put up a system on their rooftop. That's huge.
Yeah.
While it's a great return on investment, you recover your money in 3 years. it's still a huge cost for most homes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we've offered a new financing option in which 8 minutes invests in the cost of the system.
Okay.
We take care of the entire investment, 7 to 10 lakh rupees. We bear the cost and have you simply pay for the power which is coming from the system at a lower rate than what you're paying to your electricity company, right? So the way that your electricity company charges you today is essentially charging you per unit of electricity. They invest in putting up their power plant and charge you per unit.
Correct.
Right? That's how you pay your monthly electricity bill. Very similarly, we invest in installing the system on your rooftop, a small cost, and essentially have you pay for power, which is cheaper.
Okay, right? That's great. Okay. I mean, so you have these, do you all design and manufacture your own panels, or is it outsourced?
No, much like how Apple would essentially assemble all the components together for Intel chip, gate hard drive. We also assemble the components together. There's about 26 different components that go in a solar system.
Okay.
So we assemble the systems together, all the components together, and give you one unique 8 minutes solar energy system.
Okay. So I mean, I looked at your website. You have something called the Solar Advocate and the Solar Partner. So just can you tell us more about that?
So the way that we work is 8 minutes is essentially out there to create a community of people who believe in clean energy. We're more of a clean technology company, which is more of a platform model in which we aggregate installation companies. There's about 35,000 solar installation companies in India today.
Okay.
We aggregate solar installation companies so that we're accessible anywhere across the country. If we get a call, our office is in New Delhi. But if you get a call from Mumbai tomorrow, we have a local installer there who would be able to cater to the customer within 24 hours. The second part is we also have people who advocate for us, which is who come on to become, clean energy is actually a booming sector, as I said earlier. We have a lot of companies, a lot of individuals and entrepreneurs who are willing to come and start their own clean energy company, own solar company. Mm-hmm. So what we are doing is we're actually building a network of partners who we can train and help start their own solar company. So you could start being an advocate today and start recommending customers to us. So if you recommend a customer to us, we give you a certain percentage of the total cost of the system, about 1 to 2%. So for an average home, you could earn about 10,000 rupees per referral. Mm-hmm. For a business, you're essentially talking a value in crores of rupees. You earn about a lakh or 2 lakh just for referring a customer. So you help us sort of reach out to more and more consumers in the network, and you earn a great referral reward for it. Beyond that, you could also go beyond and sort of start your own installation company. We provide you with training, we provide you with marketing collateral, everything through the 8 minutes platform to help start your own solar business.
Okay. So, I mean, y'all are across India, but where have you seen the most adoption? Any particular region that you've seen this adopt more?
It's phenomenal. It's happening everywhere across.
Okay, wow.
Phenomenal. We have our hands full right now, which is why I think the reason why we sort of went for a platform-driven model was that we as a company saw that the market was going to grow at such a large speed that as one single company, running a pipeline business, we couldn't do everything. We had to make sure that we had everyone participating and delivering a great experience to customers. And we're basically accessible anywhere across the country.
Okay, great. So, I mean, not really competition, but you have Tata, Sun, Edison, Reliance, all playing in this market. I mean, I would say in this case, competition would be good because the market just gets bigger. I mean, what are your takes on that?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think, every single big group, like I mentioned earlier, Reliance, Tata, Aditya Birla, you have every single big Indian corporate and MNC wanting to come in India. Yeah. But their focus right now is very much on the government projects, the large utility scale projects. So what they want to do is they want to set up solar farms, sell that energy to your electricity companies, and have the electricity companies essentially charge you the same rate. So what we're saying is we're going to break that chain and we're going to come directly to your home and sell you that energy.
Okay. Any resistance from these guys?
Right now, there's just too much. There's just way too much to be done. So, they're working in their own field. We're working in their own niche field. So, no, not at all. We're working coexisting. But I think 3 to 5 years down the line, when we hit that sort of saturation in the market, they're going to want to come back to the residential sector. And by then, we're going to have a strong foothold.
So, are you bootstrapped or any funding from outside?
We recently closed a round of funding about 2 months back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And what's your current team size like?
We're at 15 people right now. We've been able to grow to about 10 with our own revenues. and we just closed a round of funding. So we're looking to double our team size, maybe triple our team size by the end of over the next 6 months.
Okay.
So definitely looking for some great people to come on board.
And any challenges in starting a solar provider company in India as such, or any challenges?
It is very difficult.
Okay.
Because it's essentially a capital intensive business.
Correct.
Which is very important. So you have to have a lot of cash upfront to start your own solar company, because your customers have orders worth crores of rupees or lakhs of rupees if you're doing home in the consumer segment. Which means that you have to have a certain amount of cash flows to be able to deliver the product on time.
Okay.
But if you look at our model, the way that we are helping companies grow is that we sort of take care of the entire procurement for our partners. Procurement is always centralized through us, which means that you don't have to have any capital investment upfront. You could actually be just an engineer fresh out of college, and you could start your own solar company with our backing. So we're trying to help more and more people start their own solar companies, get on the ground, start getting more consumers, and help more people switch to clean energy.
Okay. And any government grants as such for your company?
We've been listed at a Ministry of Renewable Energy channel partner.
Okay.
Which means that we get access to 30% subsidy for our customers, which is something that we pass on.
Okay, great. And what's the state of clean tech in India today in 2016?
I think clean tech in India is primarily growing in the. There's very little that's happening on the R&D stage, which I think is better happening globally, where you have new modules. The efficiency of modules is increasing over time. The cost is decreasing, which is awesome. But you have a lot of these smaller companies which are now coming up in the sector and starting to establish large mile connectivity. Most of the innovation that's happening on the last mile connectivity, how we reach out to consumers and sort of get door to door and start converting more and more people to solar.
Okay. So moving out of business, so who influenced you most in life, Dev?
I think I'm very a big fan of Elon Musk and Elon Musk is energy plus transport plus space. That's probably my checklist of things to do.
Okay.
So I think he really took a step beyond and said, okay, what are the sort of things that we need to drastically change the way that we're living today?
Okay.
Get us to the next level, because you don't want to be just stuck with smartphones. You want
Correct.
What's the next big thing that what's the next frontier for man? And I think these are sort of guys that sort of set a path to look forward to.
And what's some of the best advice you've been given over time?
I think my co-founder constantly keeps telling me, don't panic.
Okay.
There's just so much going on with such a fast-growing sector. I think, it's one of the challenges that we face as a company today is growth.
Yeah.
We're growing from becoming a company which is just focused around just how do we get our first few customers to actually a company which is saying, whoa, we're getting too many customers, and how do we sort of manage and build a team who can handle such a growth and do things that really scale.
Right. So, you've done your corporate jobs and all that. So when did you know during all this you were meant for entrepreneurship or start your own company?
For me, it was never like I wanted to start my own company, I guess. It was just, I saw an opportunity and I wanted to really know who else was doing it. I actually started looking for jobs in the sector, who else was doing clean tech, who was doing clean energy and reaching out to homes. And I couldn't find any company which was doing that at that point in time.
Okay.
The same vision and mission that we sort of had in our heads.
Okay.
And I think that was the sort of idea that stuck to us. And I think this is something that we can do. And we started reaching out to customers, and I think it just started. We never really found out that when we started the company, when we registered the company, and when the first order came in. It was just it just happened.
Okay. And during this entire journey, any low point where you just wanted to completely give up?
I think it's always been a roller coaster ride for us.
Okay.
And there have been ups and downs, but it's never been that, hey, it's time to step off.
Correct.
The sector that we're in, it's very different from information technology. It's very different from any other sector that's out there today. As I said, this is a very crucial point in time, and when you're standing in the brink of a very big opportunity, there's just nothing that can pull you away from it.
Okay. Any new, at present, any new like feature or any new something happening that's getting you and the team really excited?
We're basically pivoting from right now. We're pivoting from pipeline-driven model, which is, a regular solar company, to more of a platform-driven model.
Okay, that's essentially great.
Okay. Which is essentially us getting and aggregating multiple installation companies, basically creating a community of people who can accelerate the transition. And I think that's very exciting for us right now.
Great.
Basically, creating a company which can really scale.
Okay. And where do you see yourself and your business, let's say, in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think right now we're starting with energy. And once we sort of understand how energy sort of impacts people, and once we sort of get into people's homes and people really realize how a decentralized model of energy can beat conventional sources of energy, we see, solar not becoming a primary source of energy. Right now, you still need the energy infrastructure, your local cables and energy lines to provide you with backup power when we have solar installed. But much like how telecom came in and sort of completely removed the fixed line connection, you don't see telecom towers anymore, do you?
Yeah, you don't.
These energy poles are going to go away, and we're going to have a decentralized energy structure in which solar is producing energy in the day, and you have Tesla Powerwalls essentially powering your batteries, and completely taking you off the grid.
Okay.
I think that's the structure that we see ourselves.
All the best with that. And so now we move to a part of the show which is quick fire round, simple, brief answers. Okay. So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
I like to say I work for a clean technology company. Okay. And
Okay. When you think of the word successful, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Elon Musk. And not because he's successful. I think he's the sort of person who's sort of fighting against odds. And I think he's the sort of person who I would really like to see be successful. All the things that Tesla is doing, the power that SpaceX and Solar City is doing, it's just fantastic. And I think each of these sectors, I hope, are extremely successful in.
What do you excel at that people might not realize?
Tough one. I think I'm really good at the details.
Okay.
Really getting into how things are built and need to be constructed from the pyramid, and really getting to the bottom of things and laying a strong foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is something that you believe in that other people think is insane?
That we're going to go to space in our lifetime, that we're going to be powering our homes with clean energy, every single one of us in our own lifetime, and that we're going to be driving electric cars. I think that's easy to believe.
Okay. And what would you say is Dave's greatest weakness?
I don't know if this is a weakness, but I like to trust people. I think you have to, as soon as you meet someone, you have to believe that they're the best at what they do, and sort of let them prove you wrong.
Okay. And
I think you work your way down.
Your favorite city?
My favorite city, New York.
Oh, same here.
Of course.
And any book you're reading right now?
I'm reading this book called Platform Revolution: How Network Markets Are Transforming the Economy. It basically talks about two-sided markets, how there's always a demand and supply.
Yep.
How the best companies today, you talk about Apple, Google, Facebook, Uber. Any company today is basically revolutionizing their own sector, whether it's transport, hospitality, by creating an unfair advantage in the market, by aggregating and pooling resources, and creating a equilibrium between demand and supply. Okay. And how pipeline businesses are essentially losing battle to platforms. Very interesting read about just how our economy is being transformed.
I must have a look at this. And finally, one last thought or piece of advice for our founders and also for people looking to start their own clean tech companies.
I think when you start a company, it always has to be centered around a problem that you're really looking to solve. It has to be something that you can really put your time to, like think day and night.
Yep.
Really keep yourself up. You should be dreaming about it. You should be dreaming about how to solve it, and it should be a problem that you're really passionate about. And if you're looking at coming into the clean energy space, then this is definitely a big problem that needs to be addressed immediately.
Okay.
And I think if there's anything we could do, you should definitely get in touch with us.
Great. And do let our listeners know how they can reach you, and also 8 Minutes.
So you could definitely write to switch@8minutes.com.
Okay.
You can visit our website, sign up to be a solar advocate. And if you're looking to join a clean energy company, then definitely write to us. And we're looking all across the board.
Great. Again, Dev, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures, and all the very best building and scaling 8 minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Do visit 8minutes.com. That's EIGHTMINS.com. And do visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes. And please subscribe to the show and listen to us on all the platforms. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.